Okay, thank you all for coming to the online version of the Philip K. Dick Film Festival. My name is Dan. I am the one of the organizers of the festival, and I want to thank you for also joining us on Sunday. This is intended for those who are will be following our festival for the next 2 weeks online because, as you know, a lot of people today can't get to our festival live, but they still want to see our some of the movies that we feature at the festival, and that's why we have the online edition. So, and I want to thank all you for participating in this program. So, what I want to do is I want to first start out with Razan. Am I
Yeah.
pronouncing it
Yes.
correctly? Started
Yeah.
with your the movie that you made, and basically, what was go briefly describe the movie you made and the inspiration for its making.
Sure. So I'm Razan. I'm the writer and producer of the film Karar or Cave. Neo, who's also in the call, is the director. It's our film.
Okay.
Hello.
Um, so yeah, this was a film that we kind of came up with the story and developed it way back in 2018. We had this concept, or Neo came with this concept of a modern man speaking with a prehistoric man, and what kind of circumstance would that be? And I was like, I love it. Let's write it. And then I wrote the script, and then for 5 years, it was a passion project that we've tried to film. It's a post-apocalyptic film set in the Middle East. It's in Arabic, and it's not a genre that is well explored in the region and imagines a future of the Middle East if we keep going the way we're going. Um, it took about 5 years to get it off the ground. And after a successful crowdfunding campaign, we managed to actually film it. And
Yeah.
that also took a lot of work. It's quite an independent film. And yeah, and then it took us a few years to finish post-production and work on our distribution, and then we premiered in Holly Shorts. And we won Best of Fest at Holly Shorts Dubai in December, and now we're gonna be there in August. So we're gonna come to the States, hopefully in LA with the film. And yeah, and that's been the journey. It's an 8 year long
Uh,
journey. It means a lot to us.
well, that's true. I mean, we really not too often we get films of this genre coming from the Middle East, with the Jordan or Lebanon, so on. So fantastic. All right, moving on to I guess we can move on to Pietro.
Hi. I'm from Italy, and my shirt is Phobos. Phobos is a shirt about the fear that we get when we put ourselves in third person, watching the sky. And the short movie was born from my studies in astrophysics. The first time that I went in the observatory that you can see in the short movie, you can see that the location is um, gets you in a mood that is like fear and terror. And after the first time I went there, I said to my professor, I need to shoot a short movie in this location. And so I wanted to combine my studies with the one of my brother, that is the main character in the short movie, and he studies philosophy. And this short movie is about two characters that confront their ideas about consciousness and free will. And if you put this in the perspective of the universe that is huge compared to us, that we feel so small, then you can suggest some thoughts about these kind of questions.
Very very nice. Okay. Moving on, I think we have Randall.
Hey, sorry if my audio was on. I don't usually use Zoom on my phone, and I had to update it. But yeah, uh, good to see you guys. Thanks for uh, presenting my film. So I made a film called The Gun. It's a short story that Philip K. Dick wrote in 1952. So it's one of his very first, and it's basically a planet, and it's animated. A planet where there's no life on the planet. A team of scientists come across this planet. They're about to leave because it's all dead. They see what they think are the remnants of buildings. So they go to investigate, and they're shot out of the sky. And so that's kind of the premise of the whole thing, that all life has been annihilated, but there's an automatic gun that still works and shoots everything. So now they can't get off the planet, but it's very classic cautionary tale. It's very, it's right in the middle of the Cold War. So it's really similar. I tried to really keep the tone, Twilight Zone, and not be too heavy-handed, but it's definitely, cautionary tale. All life's been annihilated. Something consequences of militarization. So it was really, took a few years to make. Really, really great artists who I always wanted to work with. Ken Garduno did the concept art. I love the score. It was actually the idea of the guy who made the score. It was a friend of mine. He's worked on other films with me. Came across this short story. It's never been adapted. So yeah, that's the premise of the film.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, now we got two ones that I don't not look. There are no. I can only see their avatars, or they're just text avatars. One is Jim. Jim, are you here?
I'm just a film watcher, not a filmmaker.
Okay, oh, great, great. And now, what about David Daniels? I know I've seen your name before.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Yes. Hello, everyone. Yeah, sorry, traveling right now, so that's why my mic is muted and the camera is off.
Okay.
But yes, did you am I speaking about the film now
Oh
or
yes, just very briefly, if you could just share with us what was the name of your film that you're and the inspiration for making it.
Okay, absolutely. Again, hello everyone. Thank you. David A. Daniels, and our film is called All Your Sisters. And basically, it's a cerebral mystery anthology, like horror adjacent. And it deals with a brand new ecosystem, a brand new online ecosystem in social media where basically multiple lives of influencers collide under the influence of sentient AI. So ultimately, yeah, it's about AI sort of taking over where influencers left off, but the influencers don't know that they're being guided by this sort of new AI system. And it was inspired by uh, things like the X Files, Black Mirror, the Twilight Zone, and yeah, so that's where we are with our film.
Oh, that's awesome. So I want to just with let me return back to your Razan. Your film has been 8 years in the making, right? So that's and it's about what about 20, I think it's what is it, 16 18 minutes, 16 18 minutes long.
Yeah, that's
And
right. It's about 18 minutes. Yeah.
great. And you're Neo, by the way. You are you're
I'm
what you do.
I'm the director of the film.
Oh, you're director of the film.
Yeah, and
So
I'm the
Yes,
writer
correct.
producer. Yeah.
oh, writer producer. Okay, great, great. I just wanted to clarify that sometimes they're one and the same. Depends on, but that's excellent. So tell us a little bit about the actual. How did you? Well, first of all, was this film self-funded, or did you get funding through the Jordanian government, or how did that work?
So Neo and I are living in the UAE actually,
Okay,
and we made the film in Jordan. I'm Jordanian, he's Armenian Lebanese,
okay,
and
Yeah.
for 5 years we were trying to make this film, but we couldn't get funding from any of the usual funding entities. That's why it took so long to get off the ground, because the concept is very unfamiliar, especially to the kind of films that are made here. It seemed very ambitious. So our film is
Yeah.
it's a post-apocalyptic film about a world where a biological weapon turned all of humanity reverted them back to cave people. Our main character is a survivor who lives in a cave and
Right.
adopts a caveman with higher cognition and interacts with him. So this concept is very, very, very different from what's usually the kind of films that I made here, which are more down to earth dramas. So it was hard to get off the ground. But then after 5 years of trying and getting rejected from every fund, we decided to go with a crowdfunding campaign, which is also unusual here. But it was more of a grassroots crowdfunding campaign where we actually physically went to festivals that happen here, showcases. We went to Comic-Con, we had a booth, about the film, and we kind of told people about the movie. And hey, if you like this film, you want to see it be made, give us $30. And that's how we started the financing. So in 3 months, we raised our $10,000 for the film, and then from that, we managed to get a very famous actor, a Syrian actor who's well known, to pay attention to the film and actually sign on. And then through him, we just got some private financing. We have some crowd placement in the film, and it's completely privately financed. That's it. It's a complete community-led film.
Yeah, and we were, I mean, just to reiterate on some of the things that Razan said, I think, when we wanted to start writing the story, it was, it was something we were so passionate about, about it's a post-apocalyptic world, etc. And it came from this new movement, I think, that now we are sort of starting. It's called Arab futurism, and it's essentially the Arab world in the future. It's just something we wanted to touch upon. It's a very philosophical tale in a sense, something I was very passionate about. I wanted to kind of explore this, what it means to be human. Does it mean to be animals, or are we civilized? And the film kind of like tackles that through its two characters. One is a civilized human that comes from a modern world. He's a survivor, and then there's another one who's a caveman, and he's sort of just a byproduct of the war. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a journey that we didn't expect to go on, and we didn't get a lot of funding at the beginning because of that, because it was so different, so out of the box for the region here and stuff. But I know that in the West and in the States, this is not something different, like for you guys, like sci-fi and post-apocalypse. But I guess the taste that we brought, the different world, which is the Arabic language, the Armenian music and Armenian influences, was kind of like the I guess the what made the film different, and eventually it got the funding and the people did.
And you're, in terms of the festival circuit, you said there was Holly Shorts, right? That was last year, or?
No, December. We won. There was an inaugural Holly Shorts here in the Middle East. We won the Best of Fest, and now we're in competition for Holly Shorts in August in LA.
Oh,
In
awesome.
LA.
Awesome. Great.
So we're gonna be coming.
You're going back to, great. That's one good thing that you get at some point. You be able to at least have an opportunity to go to other countries and visit them and showcase your film and begin to understand that that's what sci-fi really ultimately I see almost like it's a universal language that
Absolutely.
and it kind of crosses the ideological barriers, and it kind of unites us, understanding if we keep this madness, we'll end up like the cavemen, and it's no accident that every year we get these themes in the festival. Some year, and for example, right after COVID, we had a lot of sci-fi themes dealing with healing and PTSD. This year, we're dealing with themes very similar to yours, but different. This idea that we're gonna go back in time, almost like the Planet of the Apes, literally like the movie Planet of the Apes. So like
Exactly.
there's a sense of impending doom that we really need to, put the brakes on. Otherwise,
and the idea that we're kind of stuck in like in a cycle, like we can't break
exactly.
it.
And
It's just happening. History keeps repeating. We're like, it's just going back to square one every time.
And that's exactly what sci-fi does. Is like we're like sci-fi writers and directors, or they're in a way like see the future. I mean, they're and it's almost like a warning of what might happen if we're not careful. And on that matter, I want to go to David, because I saw, by the way, I've seen all your films, all of them, so we have about half a dozen programmers, but I always get to see all the films that get to our final cut. So David, I really liked also your take, because this is like another version of it, like the idea that the Ascension AI is already guiding these influencers in his I think that that might be almost like the algorithm system we have, but on steroids, getting to the point where we really, even the influencers don't really have any control of what they have to say. Are you there?
Yeah, yes,
Okay,
I'm listening.
I'm not sure.
And yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and that's exactly what we were going for. And it's at what point does reality become fiction, and whatnot, and fiction becomes reality, and so that's why, spoiler alert, that's why the AI, we see the AI morph from just sort of like this voice. You could see the singularity happening. It goes from this voice to sort
yeah,
of like this pre
yeah.
mode of its early stages, and then you see almost what looks like a human being, and you can't tell the difference between the human influencers and the AI at that point, and that's exactly what we were going for, honestly.
Yes, yes, and I also absolutely. I just brought in Christine or Christian. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but Christian, you're are you? Can you hear us? Can you see us? Oh, there you go. Just
I can hear you and see you.
okay, great. We were just cycling through the various filmmakers here, and if you mind mentioning the name of your film and what was the inspiration for making it?
My film is a short film called Super Conscious, and the inspiration was the actual events of the remote viewing program that our CIA ran out of the Esalen Institute in the 70s and 80s and even 90s.
Absolutely, actually interesting. When we've only received, and this is what I really find interesting. The last 7 8 years, we've only received maybe 3 films that deal with remote viewing, and I find that very odd because that's actually something that's still, I think, is still going on. We actually
Sure.
had we back in 2017, we actually had a documentary on Ingo Swann.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had Al Puthoff and Jacques Vallée and a few of the other writers who have been involved with the remote viewing program 1974 involved. So I found it was good to actually see a film that kind of like in a more truthful way it reflects what goes on at the remote viewing. Not the most exciting kind of process, but the results can be quite surprising. Um,
Yeah. I think, the CIA claims that they canceled the program because they never got good info out of it, but um, Russell Targ, who is one of the founders of the program, was like, if they didn't get anything out of it, then why did they keep it running for 20 years? Why did they fund it to such an extent? And I think it's sort of, my belief is that it's sort of a smear against all of the sort of supernatural, um, you know, programs that the CIA has run, including like, their alien cover up and everything. It's like if they
oh,
can smear everybody, then they can keep their secret.
oh, I think that it's just changed names. It's now it's called what do you call it? NHI, non-human intelligence. Non-human intelligence. It's the same. It's repackaging of the same thing that goes back to the 70s. So, but I want to continue. I want to move on to Randall. I really one thing I like about that is because even it's at first it seems like a oh no kind of a quaint, cool, but the idea, and I really thought of a gun that shoots without humans is in a way kind of very prescient of what's happening to we got to get to the point we'll have our own drones and guns killing people without humans operating them. And I think in a very cute way, I think PKD was already kind of seeing where we're heading when he wrote that story. That humans are taken out of the equation, and the violence still continues, which is I found it kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we were right in that moment, and I started the project several years ago, and we just had like the Anthropic thing where they kind of held the line against the Department of War, we call it now, where they had reservations about building AI that's not controlled by humans to kill people, and the Pentagon was just trying to say no, you have to, almost threatening them. And I also think about, I think it's David had the AI one, or the AI one. I recently read, there's that book, If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
little crazy, but kind of you see they lay out scenarios where this stuff is really dangerous. And that's the whole lesson of the gun, that all that's left behind is the weaponry. Everything else has been destroyed. And so, yeah, it couldn't be more relevant today. I wish people would pay attention, but we seem to be.
Oh,
The one person I think about is the Japanese World War II fighter pilot Konami Harada, who's after the war he became a pacifist, but he killed tons of people in the war. He was an ace fighter pilot. In 2015, when the Japanese government was trying to rewrite the constitution to remilitarize, he was still alive. And there's this famous quote where he said, "These politicians were born after the war, and so they don't understand that it must be avoided at all costs." In this respect, they're like our pre-war leaders. It's this whole idea of the consequences of what you're doing. And that's where sci-fi is so good. It's like it imagines where this could go. And where the world is run by idiots right now who aren't thinking about,
yeah.
could there be any consequences of bombing Iran? Could that spiral into something? And they don't even think about that. It's like a video game to them. They're literally posting video game memes from the White House account, like
It's
nothing
very
bad can happen. It's crazy.
it's very bad. It's actually almost like they're in a weird bubble, and everybody else knows what's gonna be the end result, but they're in this bubble where they're like talking to each other, uh, completely unaware. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's coming out is absurd. Like, why even bomb Iran? I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. But that's a different story altogether. But I want to go on to Pietro. I saw your show, and I really liked the idea that you started out with this exploration of the idea of consciousness, because it's very rare that we have these philosophical talks in the beginning of a sci-fi short, and I really thought that was refreshing. In that respect, you have one character who believes we're just dust, and another one believes that consciousness exists outside that. So it's like a little cool conversation. So I want to just the same question I'm asking the others is, what was the process in making Phobos?
Um, I started writing Phobos last year in October, and then I shot it in February, and we edited it in around in 4 months, 6 months, and it was self-produced. We didn't get any money from anybody, and I don't know. And now it's going in some festivals like Madrid Sci-Fi Film Fest, and then it went to Matera Film Festival in Italy here. And what you said before, the fact that they are talking about philosophical stuff in the first part of the movie, I got that idea from They Live Carpenter, because in the first part of They Live, we get some mysterious uh, char- characteristics. I don't know how to say it because I'm a bad English talker. I'm sorry. Uh, but in the first part of the movie, we see like a party, and it's a mysterious party, and they talk about philosophical stuff. And then we get a second part that explores the first one. And so I got that really interesting, and I said, let's put, let's make the first shot of the movie that is like this tree that is unusual, and then afterwards uh, we get to talk about this stuff, and then go deep into these into these. I'm sorry, my English is really, really bad.
No,
I
it's good. Go on.
into these uh, teams, and nothing else.
Oh, certainly very well done. It really interacts that combination of the allness of the universe and that subjective experience of consciousness. I really think that's really uh, great. I think we may have someone else. I'm not sure if he's a Carlos. Are you here? Are you a filmmaker or a you just a guest or an audience member? Carlos, can you hear us? Well, I'm not sure if he is or not, but all right, great. So that's really what I want to do is then I want to just cycle through here and what are your what are your plans? I mean, now moving forward, starting with Razan and Neo Pelion. Now, you mentioned that you have you coming to the States, right? In next in a couple months, is that it?
In August, yeah.
In August, excellent, excellent. Well, definitely shoot us an email if you're in New York. I mean, we don't. We did psychedelic and a Philip K. Dick festival back in 2019 in LA. Not too far away,
Awesome.
actually, from where he lived in Santa Ana. That was really an amazing experience. So yeah, definitely keep us in the loop regarding that. So in addition, are you working with other projects moving forward, or what's your basic game plan at this point?
So we've got a few things. The one thing together, which is a feature version, hopefully, of Cave that
Okay.
we're trying to get off the ground.
Yeah,
Uh,
we were part of the Produire de Sud co-production training, and the film was selected for. They picked several films from the Gulf region, and this was picked, and we developed it into a feature film, and we actually took it to the Cannes Film Market in May last year to develop it there, and so that's what we're working on for the next few years, other than also our
right.
other short film projects. Neo can talk about his, and I'll talk about my upcoming one
Sure.
also.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I've got a feature version of Cave, like I said, and then I've got another feature film that I'm writing, which is about the sort of revisionist history a little bit for the Armenian of the Armenian genocide that I'm writing, and me coming from an Armenian background, it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm trying to get off the ground. And then I've got another short that I'm writing, which is a horror short that I'm trying to see where that's going to go. And a lot of it is, like I said, influenced by war and the themes that we live through here in the Middle East. We are actually currently living in Dubai, which is technically at the moment still in war, but
Yeah.
I don't know if
there's
you
a lot
guys
going on
know
around here.
what's happening.
Yeah. But a lot of these influence the philosophical journeys of the stories that I try to tell in a lot of the films that I try to make. And Razan can talk about hers.
Yeah, I mean, just to pick up on that, funny enough, we just got our visa to the States so that we can come like 2 weeks before the current attacks from Iran happened. Because now
Mm,
all the embassies are closed and targeted, and
wow.
it's a
Yeah.
no-fly zone. So we got really lucky. We just grabbed that. We did our interview
Yes.
and we got our visa. But hopefully, hopefully hopefully soon this will settle down. We don't know. We're all sitting at home and just waiting for this to be settled.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hopefully that will come to an end soon.
yeah. And yeah, and I have two films coming up. A short horror film set in Jordan about a family that's fighting over inheritance in a cursed house that they're
Mm,
fighting over, and they're haunted by their childhood traumas. And I'm working on a feature film as well that won a development fund in the Amman Film Festival, and it's a zombie comedy, so that's more up the sci-fi
zombie
alley.
comedy.
It's
Okay.
about a family who's trying to host a wedding, and it's our Arab weddings are a big deal, and it's a family that's trying to hold a wedding despite a pandemic that's turning into a zombie apocalypse.
Wow, that's awesome.
Those are
Uh,
the projects coming in, and wherever Karar as well travels as well.
Christina, what are you planning? You know what I thought? I always thought was something no one's really done that because as we know we get exposed. Almost like a serialized version of a remote viewer who is given assignments. Have you ever thought what are your plans for super conscious? I mean, this is the as first of all, is this the first film you've done? Have you done other films? Where do you stand in there?
This is my second film. I made a short a couple years ago it was very short. It had no dialogue, no two actors talking to each other. So this was a lot more ambitious. Um, Super conscious, actually, I'm a TV writer, but I haven't worked in as a TV writer in many years just because of the state of the industry. So that kind of drove me to want to direct. I was like, I'm tired of asking permission to
Right.
make stuff. So I kind of tried my hand at directing and I loved it. And then I made Super Conscious as my second film. And it actually was part of a pilot that I wrote that was based on the Esalen Institute, like inspired by the Esalen Institute. And I saw it as a medical drama where there was like a case of the week, but also some serialized things happening with the main characters. But I saw it as like a medical drama, but for people in spiritual crisis. And so every week, like somebody would come to Esalen, but I called it the Future Institute. And it's like, oh, like my wife glows when we have sex, or I'm having out of body experiences, or um, I think my baby is a reincarnation of whoever. So I love that kind of case of the week for spiritual crisis. And I set it against the backdrop of the energy crisis because I see that as sort of, a metaphor for spiritual crisis. So when I wanted to make a short, I was like, oh, this one part of this pilot feels like really ripe for like a contained short. But since Hollywood has sort of collapsed, I am just working on my own and not relying on Hollywood and not relying on the system. So I've written Super Conscious as a feature film that I could shoot for, definitely under 5 million. And I'm currently working in production again and doing like production supervising and that kind of thing, and actually learning film finance. And I'm from Minnesota, where there are these amazing tax incentives right now. So I'm hoping that I can raise some money and direct the feature.
Wow.
So I'm taking it to the Overlook Film Festival next month and gonna have my feature in good shape and my pitch deck. And yeah, I mean, I have another kind of supernatural thriller feature in my back pocket, and I would like to focus on shorts and make more shorts, but like it's I've been having trouble finding money for shorts, and I spent all my money on this one. I've got nothing left. So ironically, I think it might be easier to make a feature than another short. I know that sounds crazy, but kind of waiting around for like grant money or prize money uh, doesn't seem like my move right now. So I think I'm just gonna try to raise like honestly, if I could raise $1 million, I could make like a $3 or $4 million short in Minnesota because of the nature of the tax incentives. So that's what I'm focusing on.
I have here at a festival yesterday. We had a talk with Spiro Stambulis. He's an agent and also a sales rep, and we're worked with him for the last few years, and from LA. And he's really has a few things to say about feature making and shorts. He says definitely shorts is for honing your craft, but if you're gonna do a feature, he says there's certain things you need to do to really get it out into the market and successful. So what I'm gonna do with all the filmmakers who are interested, he's more than happy to answer any questions regarding. I'm a short filmmaker. I'm a feature. Where do I stand? And I can definitely include you guys on this email blast. That you can email him and say, "Hey, Spiro, I'm with the Philip K. Dick Festival. I wanted to find out. Listen, I'm doing a feature. I'm doing a short. I like to do a feature. And he's so cool. I mean, it's very rare to find a distributor / agent that it's down to earth. But he's a filmmaker first, so he understands the challenges of being a filmmaker. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, make shorts and they think, oh, getting a short, and making money off a short is next to impossible, unless you get into from very specific platforms. So, but a short is a good kind of a starting point. And if you can start attaching talent, and there's a whole science to that, which he can definitely help you. For instance, we had last night we showed Past Life. We had Jeremy Piven, and we spoke to the director of that, who flew in from the UK. And yeah, it's interesting, but there's a lot of different variables. So you want to make sure once you get into the feature end of it, that you know exactly what you're doing. One thing that Spiro said is very important to get yourself a lawyer early on. I know lawyers are not cheap, especially good ones, but that can advise you in the process. But I do think that a good remote viewing feature is definitely way overdue. I haven't seen it anywhere, and I think well done. It could really go somewhere. I think that a few years ago there was a film called a feature, an episodic series called the Hypnotist. No, The Mentalist. Sorry, with Simon Baker. By Simon Baker. And I think something like this could play off if you want an episodic, or just go for a feature and get some talent out there. And Spiro can definitely, not you but all of you, can help you in taking your projects to the next level, which is where we really need, where that applies to all of you. So just to keep that in mind, I'll definitely send an CC all of you with Spiro's email so you can ask him. He's very cool. Just give him a couple weeks. He's super busy these days. I want to move on to Randall. Randall, every year, it seems like The Gun is one of those films that I haven't seen in other editions of the festival. I have gotten the one, what I think you keep forgetting, the one with the cuckoo clock. There are two or three, Piper in the Woods. But how many do you know how many public domain shorts exist that are available for adaptation into a PKD? There can't be that many.
Well, I'm not absolutely sure, but The Gun was written for a monthly called Planetary Stories. So, and it was like really early on. So the way copyright law existed back then, that was 1952. He did it work for hire. And so that kind of stuff is not life of the artist. And, they kept changing it. So they kept extending it. So now it's like life of the author plus 75, I think. But that one, under copyright law in 1950, anything he wrote at that time was 28 years with an option to renew for another 28. We had an attorney and we couldn't even figure out if they renewed it. It's moot because even if they had renewed it, it would have fallen into the public domain like 2008 or something like that. And our attorney was saying the only way you could actually find out is you'd have to go to the Library of Congress in DC because it's not even digitized. They'd have to look up. Like I said, it wouldn't matter, but it has to do with like those laws changing and possibly if he had done it work for hire. Because I think, and I don't know how much it's retroactive, right? So it was like copyright law was 28 years.
Yeah.
If you wrote something it was 1972, I think, where they changed it. So it was automatic life of the artist. And I think it might have been after that it became life of the artist plus 50. Now it's 75. Stuff doesn't even fall into the public domain anymore, thanks to Disney.
No, and one thing I want to know, I work with the PKD estate, the sisters, and they're pretty cool. So if you ever think of taking a PK, it happens to fall under their umbrella, there are two alternatives. You can do it for a festival run, and you can get a really good deal from them. There's a different story if you want to do it for feature distribution. But for a festival run, you just approach the estate. Because they're also very strict about going after people who grab stuff from PKD without credit and so on. So, but just go. They're very cool, and just let them know you're PKD fan, or would like to do an adaptation, and doing for the festival run. And I understand they work pretty good with filmmakers. We've had one or two filmmakers who've gone that route, and they're pretty happy with it. So that's always. PKD has amazing stories, and some of them some of them, for instance, Radio Free Albemuth. We started out with Radio Free Albemuth back in 2012, which was one of his posthumous. He actually wrote it right before dying. That was our opening film for the festival. So that's turned into a feature. But there are a lot of good stuff that he's done that hasn't been done it. So moving on. So David, are you planning on taking this project to a feature, or are you planning on doing other shorts? What's your overall strategy or game plan?
Well, we're thinking about letting it exist as it is, honestly, because we do have other projects that we have a couple horror shorts in post. Those are proof of concepts. All Your Sisters, it's a lot to digest. So I mean, we'd love to expand the world of it, give it more, even more depth, more meaning. Uh, but again, we'll see where the road takes us for this particular film. Right now, it's on a festival run right now. We're going to Pasadena International Film Festival in a few weeks. So we'll get it'll have its West Coast premiere there. So yeah, we'll see where the road takes us for
Keep us
August.
definitely keep us in the loop. Christian,
Okay.
you had a I
Yeah.
know I'm trying to get on the chat for some reason I can't there's something.
Yeah.
Did you have a question before?
Oh no, I just dropped my email in there in case anyone wants to keep in touch.
Oh, okay, excellent. I wasn't all right, great,
Yeah.
fantastic. If I can ever grab that there you go.
I'll say I would love to connect with all the filmmakers, and I can put my link in the chat to watch my film with the password. It'll be free online later, but I'd love to see everyone's films. And Holly Shorts is great. I'm also submitted to that one. So if you guys end up in Holly Shorts, but yeah, I'd love to connect maybe on
Yeah.
email.
That'd be awesome.
Me too. I would like to.
And who was just talking a minute ago? I was trying to connect the voice to a face.
I think
No,
that was Randall. That was Randall, I think.
Was it Randall?
Well, it was David that you were talking to about.
Oh, David, maybe it was
Chimed
just
in.
the echo. It kind of like threw me off. Yeah, that's great. So what I'll do is after this, I'm also going to include all of you on a CC, so you can now that you've spoken, there's a lot more connection. You can interact with each other as well. Fantastic.
Yes, please do.
Now, and Pietro, what's your overall game plan moving forward with Phobos? I know you just started submitting it to festivals. Is that it?
Yeah, I just started, but no, I'm not thinking about making a feature about it. Maybe in the future, maybe. Now I'm focusing on another project that is another short movie. I want to get some funding, and but in Italy we don't get like 3 or 4 million for a short movie. We get like 10,000 euros at maximum. Because we don't have that many, and but the next one it's about two guys like my age experiencing the war inside the house when it's out there. And I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. It's not sci-fi. It's a drama, comedy, and tragic. I don't know how to
Okay,
say
got it.
it. And later in the future, based on my studies in astrophysics, I'm gonna go back to sci-fi because that's I love it, and I understand now that that is my focus.
Yeah, I think that, as you said, I think that there's certain themes that are coming up this year, and I think there's always the tech theme, which is that what I refer to as near future sci-fi, like sci-fi just around the corner. Which is, for
Yeah.
example, David, that's what you're hinting at, because I wouldn't be surprised that what you're talking about 2 or 3 years down the line is what's exactly going to be happening. Even without sentient AI. I mean, the way we're heading and this.
I'm gonna ask for a snack, but this is my snack now.
Yes, this complex emerging process is. I think it's. I wouldn't be surprised, and of course there's also the other side of the spectrum, that we end up going backwards in time, right? Or at least through some kind of ridiculous cataclysm brought by our stupid leaders, we go back to the Stone Age, which is that's another possibility, and it's not so.
Pretty much.
It's not so far away. So hopefully neither one of them will happen, and we'll keep sci-fi as a warning to the future and future generations that hey, we're like the new poets, so to speak. With a little bit of a sci-fi mind, we know what's happening, we know what's going on, we smell it, we see it, we feel it. And not everybody knows what's up, but we are. So we feel it. So it's time to keep the message, keep the hope alive, and share this your wisdom. And there's a lot. Lastly, I want to end up with this. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, we get maybe over 1,000 submissions to our festival, but what really breaks my heart is that a lot of this stuff it's just very dull. It's like there's a lot of cool stories out there in sci-fi besides AI. For instance, I'm gonna throw a couple out there for you guys. Is just like the idea of non-human intelligence. You know, the connection between non-human intelligence, between AI and something else happening, something hijacking non-human intelligence. There's a lot of good stuff, but we get these old tropes of UFOs and going rescue your girlfriend from. That's seen it a million times. Don't want to go into that. You want to look for fresh stories and don't worry about it. Take chances because you'll find something there. By accident, you'll uncover a gem, and that's what we're here for, to discover those hidden gems. Not everything is the Matrix or the simulation. I get like at least 50 movies every year dealing with the simulation. But like, for example, like your superconscious, don't get that much. As I mentioned, the caveman, very, very little. The philosophical explorations, next to nothing, and PKD maybe once a year, if at that. So you guys represent, and of course, cutting edge tech, and how that's going to influence our decision making. That's very prescient, and I think we got you guys. I support you, applaud you for keeping this spirit alive, because you definitely have the finger on the future. So without any further ado, I want to say goodbye. Thank you all for supporting.
I have a question. Sorry.
Yes.
How did the screening go? I couldn't be there. I couldn't attend.
Oh, the screening was good. We had a very good following. I think people liked it. That was I think the late afternoon. I think overall what we're getting is a nice mix of people participating in this program. I was surprised, for example, when Superconscious was there. It was Saturday morning, but it was like 30 people in the room. It was a whole 40. So a lot of people seen it, and they liked it from all walks of life too. So, and it's not easy doing that in New York. I mean, New York is not an easy place to do anything.
No.
You remember, it's not like
No.
oh yeah, that's like doing it. No. New York is you remember. Think of New York as having all the entertainment things compressed. So how are you gonna bring So when we do it, we try to do it every year. So with your support, of course. So thanks for staying creative.
Thank you.
And definitely stay in touch. And I will see you maybe next year.
Yes.
Thank
you.
again.
Thank you,
so much.
everyone.
Thanks, Dan.
Everybody
Thanks,
stay
everybody.
safe.
Thank you.
No.
I'll share
Thank
your
you,
emails
everyone.
with everybody. Thanks. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye then.
Bye.